だから走ったりするっていう話聞いたんですけど。
The underwear yeah, we put it on our bus because there's so much thrown on stage. We like to, it's good decoration and it smells nice.
せっかくねステージに皆さん投げてくださるので、いいデコレーションになるし、匂いもなかなか。
嬉しそうに言ってますね、孫さんも。やっぱり女性の下着が好きなんですか、要するに。
You like ladies?
No, I don't like them. I like to see them on them. I don't like to wear them. No.
いや、やっぱり。
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Crash Course Metal Show. I'm your host, Trevor Krash Knight, and today we are going to be doing a album ranking of one of the LA great glam bands that you can say, Ratt. Now, just a little bit of background here before we jump into me ranking the 7 albums, original studio albums. Ratt is, like I said, a glam band from the 80s, but their origins actually come from the 70s, believe it or not. But they didn't really get any notoriety or get any traction until they did their 1983 EP, just titled Ratt here, which it is an EP, which we will not be ranking, but it is a great EP nonetheless. And obviously, we won't be doing the greatest hits either, even though there is some unreleased stuff on that, like Nobody Rides for Free and such, only on soundtracks for the movie Point Break. But, yeah, so you have here in Ratt, Stephen Pearcy lead vocals, Robin Crosby, rest in peace, on lead and rhythm guitars, Warren DeMartini on also lead and rhythm guitars, Juan Crucier on bass guitar, and Bobby Blitzer on the drums. Now, that is the classic lineup. That's the lineup that is on most of these albums here. It is not the active lineup, though. I will say that. So, now we will get into the ranking. All right, so coming in at number 7 here, guys, we got Ratt's Infestation from 2010.
There's no angel, she's back in black. No, she's a devil, but I like that ass. Does it make you ever want?
Very, it's, you could say that this is kind of like their comeback album. This is their final album, studio album that they did, and the first one since the 1999's just self-titled Ratt. And this one does have Carlos Cavazo on guitars as well, because obviously Robin Crosby is not on this one. And obviously, most people know Carlos from all his work in Quiet Riot and other projects. But as far as this album goes, it did pretty well. It did reach the top 30 on the 200 Billboard charts here in America, but it did not get any certifications or anything like that. But you had the 2 singles here, Best of Me and Eat Me Up Alive. It is a good album, but for me though, it kind of it kind of misses the mark just a little bit. It sounds good. It's a good comeback album, if you will. It nothing hateful about it at all. I just kind of can't get into like half these songs, not because of how it sounds. It sounds like a modern classic Ratt, but to me, it's just maybe some of the songs and the songwriting is kind of like halfway, like throughout this album, I kind of get bored somewhat, and I don't know what I can attest that to, but don't get me wrong, there's still really, really good stuff here. Like the single, Best of Me, classic, mid to late 80s Ratt sounding single here. Very cool stuff. Warren still sounds good. Steven still sounds good. The whole band really still sounds pretty well. And I will the only differences in the lineup here would be Robbie Crane on the bass, which Juan isn't a part of this album, and Carlos, like we said earlier. So, I mean, maybe some of that has something to do with it. You don't have Juan's writing or like songwriting here. That might take a little bit of a hit on that. But overall, though, I do like it, but it's just not one that I would pick up first from Ratt, obviously, coming in here at number 7. Alrighty, coming in at number 6 here, guys, we got the self-titled album, or as some people like to call it, the 1999, a 4-piece on the band, and that is Stephen Pearcy, Warren DeMartini, Robbie Crane, and Bobby Blotzer. And so you don't have Robin Crosby here, or Juan, but this is one where it took a while for them, because this is about 9-8 years, give or take, since their last album, and very good stuff here. But now I like about the same amount of songs from this to Infestation, but I like the songs that I like on 1999 here a lot better than the songs that I like on Infestation. So that's why it goes in here at number 6. But it does have a little bit of that 1999 sound, but it still has, Warren brings it a little bit more bluesy stuff in here. It's still very good songwriting. I like the songwriting here on this this album. So you had like Over the Edge, I really like. Gave Up on Giving Up is cool. We Don't Belong, I believe, was one of the I guess you could say singles off this album. And Dead Reckoning I really like as well. And probably my favorite song on here is Lovesick. I always enjoyed that song, even before I had this album. Very good stuff. Now, it's not going to be your... Lovesick might actually be the most, I would say, 80s sounding song, or more like original type Ratt sounding song. But it's still really good stuff. Like I said, you have some bluesy stuff, but you do have a little bit of that 90s feel to it. But it's not like they're trying to be somebody that they're not at the same time. So it has a nice little mixture there. Pretty cool. But for me, though, it did, surprisingly, though, this did, with it coming out in 1999, it did hit 169, I think, on the top 200 Billboard charts, but it didn't do no certifications or anything. So sadly, that is where 1999 is at, and for any 80s band in 1999, you're gonna that's a pretty good achievement, though, in and of itself, hitting 169 either way. But yeah, for me, though, it goes in here at number 6. Nothing, can't say too much bad about it, but can't say too much good either. So I mean, I think most Ratt fans would have the final 2 albums here as their lower ranked albums. So, but nothing hateful on either one. Infestation and the 1999 album, if you're a Ratt fan, I think you should still pick them up. There's still really good stuff on there. So moving on to the 5th spot here, guys. Now, this might be a little bit of a wild card here, or not a wild card, but some people might disagree with this. But for me, the 5th spot, I am going to have to go with the debut. From 1984, and I know a lot of people swear by this album, love this album, but for me, though, it's kind of, other than the singles on here, which were Round and Round, One in Man, and Lack of Communication, and you could argue Back for More got a lot of play too. I don't really find anything else too memorable. I don't know. I think, as far as, because a lot of people put Out of the Cellar and Invasion of Your Privacy kind of hand in hand, and I think as far as those 2 albums go, and what each one is kind of the brother to the other, And I think Invasion of Your Privacy does everything a lot better than, say, Out of the Cellar does. And now a lot of people do like Round and Round. I don't need to hear that song again. It's a great song. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know. It's just kind of like this album. I only have it on vinyl, actually. I still don't have it on CD. And I've known about this album for 20 plus years, and I just never really got it on CD, just never really found it in person and picked it up online. So I don't know. It's just something about this album. Nothing really grabs me. There are good songs on here. Like I said, all the singles are really good. Back for More and such. And man, I do like In Your Direction as well. I mean, there's good stuff on here. Like I said, there's nothing hateful. A lot of these albums from here on out, you can kind of switch places back and forth a little bit depending on the day. But I don't know. It's just for me, like I said, this did reach the seventh spot in the top 200 billboards. Did go triple times platinum last I looked, and I don't know. Just for me, the Morning After is kind of good too. I do kind of like the songwriting on that. That's kind of funny, but I don't know. I just this album here. It's just obviously you got Tony Katane on the front, which is always a plus. But yeah, I don't know, guys. I know a lot of people would have this as their first or maybe second, but I don't know. I just think Invasion of Your Privacy does everything better than say this album does. And to me, just like the deep cuts on here just aren't as memorable as some of the other deep cuts on all the other albums. So not hating on it. Still a great album. Still one that I can still put on the record player and still be okay with. I'm not saying anything otherwise, but for me, it's just one that I don't really grab. And if I put on Ratt, I have say 4 other albums I would rather listen to first than this one. So guys, coming in at the 5th spot, it is 1984's Out of the Cellar. Alrighty, guys, coming in at number 4. This one here, now these next 2 spots, I could probably go either way, depending on the day with. But today, I ended up going at number 4, Dancing on, probably the most recent one I picked up of the whole catalog here. So this is probably the freshest in my mind here. I enjoyed this album. This was a little bit better than what I thought because the 2 singles are just okay for me. I like the 2 singles. I can listen to them. I don't skip them or anything like that. But they're on the weaker side of things as far as say Ratt's singles. And now I do know Slip of the Lip though. I don't know if that was technically a single, but it did have a music video. I do know that. But last I seen, I was looking at the singles, and I only seen that they had 2 singles, and it was Dance and Body Talk. So, which they're fine too, but I absolutely love Slip of the Lip. I don't know how that wasn't the first single and more than just a music video. So correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong on that. Maybe it was a single too, but like I said, it is a music video, and if it wasn't a single, that's tragic. So it did go 1-time platinum, and it did hit the top 26, or it got to 26 in the top 200 Billboard charts. So certainly this is Ratt at their height. And obviously you could say Invasion was at their height as well. But even from Invasion and even from their debut, Out of the Cellar, you could say they were at their height. So, but yeah, I absolutely love Slip of the Lip here. This is the first album I think for Ratt is when they started picking up more of their melodic sound and feel. Now that Ratt is always has melody and very melodic, but I think you're starting to get more mainstream melody here, more commercial melody, if you will, and because this is 1986, so you got like bands like Cinderella, Poison, stuff like that coming into the limelight here, and Ratt is kind of following suit because this doesn't really sound like Invasion of Your Privacy or even Out of the Cellar. It's definitely more has a commercial feel to it, but nonetheless, still very good. Still, Robin and Warren sounding good, and man, the whole band is clicking on all cylinders here. But for me, though, I will say that this comes in at number 4. I absolutely love Seventh Avenue. That's probably, well, other than Slip of the Lip, Seventh Avenue is probably my 2 favorite songs on here, without a doubt. I always enjoyed the cover for some reason. It's just really basic, but it just has that 80s feel to it. Really cool. Same with a lot of Ratt's album covers are pretty cool. I don't have a problem with either one of them. They're all pretty eye-catching for the most part. And yeah, you can't knock Ratt for not having any good album covers, that's for sure. So coming in at number 3 here, guys, we are gonna go with Reach for the Sky, 1988. I know this is probably one of their least commercial albums as far as selling wise. It did go 1-time platinum, which I know you could argue and say it still sold well, but it did still reach as well 17th on the top 200 Billboard chart. But overall, a lot of people didn't really care for this album, especially from the classic era lineup or classic era of Ratt. This is probably one of people's least favorites, I would say. But to me, I mean, you could argue here, Robin Crosby was his addiction was getting pretty bad here, and how much really was he on this album? And as we know, Detonator, he was barely on it, maybe on a couple pieces throughout Detonator. But how much was he really on this album here as well? That's to be determined, I guess. I mean, maybe we'll never really know. But to me, I enjoy this album. Now, obviously, you don't have those bigger hits here. You do have the 2 singles, Way Cool Jr. and I Want a Woman, which I do enjoy both those songs because I love the bluesiness of Way Cool Jr. I think Warren sounds really, really good on there. And this is probably the first album where you do get a lot of the bluesiness coming in here. And I think some of the songwriting is pretty good. Some of the songs keep my attention longer than some other Ratt albums, which is kind of strange because I kind of would tend, because I didn't expect this to be at number 3 when I was thinking of this list here a couple weeks ago. And I was like, man, I don't know. This album is a little bit better than I thought, and that what most people would give it credit for, because the first 3 tracks are really good. I always enjoyed City to City, which is the opening track. I Want a Woman and Way Cool Jr. were the singles, and I always enjoyed those. But I Want to Love You Tonight's kind of like a cooler, mellower song. I enjoy What's It Gonna Be? What I'm After is a kind of a fun song to end the album. And you still got good work here from Warren and Robin. So Stephen Pearcy still sounds good. And you got Juan writing good songs, quality songs here. So I don't know what exactly why it didn't sell as well. Now, I guess when you come off of Out of the Cellar, Invasion of Your Privacy, and like Dancing Undercover, even this, people would probably say commercially, at least, like just your casual fans would say, yeah, this isn't nearly as good. But to me, though, I can dig it. I like Reach for the Sky. It definitely warrants a 3rd spot. But like I said before, it could have went into the 4th spot, though, too. It depends on the day between Dance Undercover and Reach for the Sky for me. So, I don't know, guys. I just really enjoy this album. I think it doesn't deserve hate like another album, which we're going to talk about here very shortly. But yeah, to me, I like Reach for the Sky. I like the blues in this in it. I like, there's some more mellow stuff on here. Now, Ratt never really did a ballad up until this point, but it did do more slower, mellow stuff. And I always enjoyed that from Ratt. So, guys, I think we are just going to put Reach for the Sky in the number 3 spot. All right, guys, here we go with the top 2 now. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, oh man, he hasn't done Detonator or Invasion of Your Privacy yet. Which one is he gonna do? Because I know what a lot of people put at number 1 between those, but I think we're gonna zig where a lot of people zag. So, or we're gonna zag where a lot of people zig, whichever way you want to call that. But for me, I am gonna be going at number 2, Invasion of Your Privacy. Putting at number 2 is no slight to this album or anything like that. You do have this album here, Invasion of Your Privacy, went double platinum. So it is the second best-selling album of Ratt, and it did reach 7th in the top 200 Billboard chart. And this is the album that came out right after 1985 of their debut album, Out of the Cellar. But to me, I think this is where Ratt kind of clicks on starts firing on all cylinders. And in that whole five-man lineup classic era, the guitar tone on this album is where it's at. This is peak Ratt as far as that goes, as far as guitar tonage, I think goes. And it's just that classic mid to early 80s guitar tone. And it's absolutely great. That makes the whole album just listen to the guitar tone, and that just makes the whole album just that by itself. So, guys, obviously you have the 2 singles here, or 3 singles. Lay It Down. Everyone loves that album or loves that song. There's no one that I know that doesn't love that song. That song should probably be bigger than Round and Round. I love this song a whole lot more than Round and Round. And then you got the other one, You're in Love. Very nice, quick song, right to the point. Very good. And What You Give Is What You Get, which is also a fine. It was, I think that might have been a single or a B-side, maybe on Japan, or maybe just a single in Japan or something like that. It was something weird like that, but still a good song as well. But yeah, I mean, there's probably only 2 songs I don't care for on this album, and that's why it kind of goes at number 2 in my list for me. But like I said, you got Robin and Warren just clicking on all cylinders here. Good songwriting all the way through. Oh man, yeah, Dangerous But Worth the Risk. I like that. And that's the final track. A good album closer there. You Should Know By Now is pretty fun. I can dig it. Never Use Love, Closer to My Heart. That's like another one of those like more mellow songs. Really cool. I just like the atmosphere because like as far as like the tonage, guitar tonage and stuff, it's really good. But I think that also adds to the atmosphere of this album, and it's really good. It kind of, especially when you look at the album cover, this is another classic album cover here from the 80s. Really, really good. And it just kind of adds to that, like that blue color here, like really strange in like a dark room, like that. It just kind of adds to the atmosphere. I really enjoy it. I think the album cover really helps looking at it when you're listening to the album as well. So this is a really good album. I'd take this any day over the debut, and I know that might be fighting words to some people, but that's just where I come from as far as the Ratt catalog between the 2. Because I know a lot of people have probably the first 2 albums as their 1-2 punch and in their rankings, but for me though, it's either Invasion of Your Privacy or you're kind of coming down just a little bit with the debut, which like I said, I ain't taking nothing away from the debut. It's still a very good album, iconic, but to me, I'm gonna go grab Invasion of Your Privacy before I grab Out of the Cellar. And that's just me. So I absolutely love it. Even the music video for Lay It Down is really cool too. So I dig it. I dig it a lot, and certainly one of their best albums, and that's why it's coming in here at number 2, guys. Alrighty, guys. So you do know now, or should know, what my number 1 is going to be, and that is going to be 1990s Detonator. Oh man, I absolutely love this album. I always love this album. I always love the 2 singles that came off the greatest hits from this album. Really, really good stuff. I think this album would even be stronger if it also had Nobody Rides for Free on it from the Point Break soundtrack, which was roughly around the same time. Ah man, that would certainly, like, if you could take Top Secret maybe off and put that on here, this would be an awesome album and it would have done a whole lot better. So this is the last album of the classic era of Ratt, obviously coming out in 1990, and then they broke up afterward. So you had, like, this is here. Robin Crosby is like, how much is Robin Crosby really on this album? Some people argue that he was only on pieces. He wasn't even on it at all. Warren took a lot of the guitar work on here. He did a lot of it, and I think if that's true about Warren doing pretty much everything on this, I think this is a great album, a great showing from Warren, which he already proved himself, obviously, as one of the greats from the 80s, just from the last 4 albums before this. But this, putting everything pretty much on his shoulders at this point on this album, I think really, really is a testament to him. So, but like, you do kind of, the tonage is a little bit different here. Say even from Reach from the Skies, the guitar tonage is a little bit different, and certainly different from, say, Invasion of Your Privacy, but still very good tonage though. It's not that classic Ratt tone, but still very good, awesome guitar work throughout. Stephen Pearcy even sounds really good on this album still, and like 5 albums in. So man, good songwriting as well. I love some of the lyrics here. And man, like, Loving You's a Dirty Job was one of the singles, in Shame, Shame, Shame. Both singles there. Really good lyrics, really good stuff. And even like on Hard Time and All or Nothing, and even Heads I Win, Tails You Lose, really, really good lyrics. Like Stephen Pierce is saying, if you get in my way, I'm gonna spit in your eye. Like some really crazy shit. Like, you sell your mother out to the river just to make a lousy dime, just like really, really in your face lyrics. This album is really in your face, even compared to like Invasion of Your Privacy, which is pretty in your face too. Just like I said about the guitars and such like that, and even the heaviness of it. Now, you could argue this isn't as heavy, maybe, and it's certainly more on the bluesier side, which is why I think I really enjoy this album more than a lot of the other Ratt albums, is because of the bluesiness side to it. And that's where I think a lot of Warren's had a lot of the guitar work. So I think that's why I kind of lean that way, as far as Robin Crosby probably wasn't on this album as much as some people say, and like I said, some people say he wasn't even on it at all at this point. So, and it did say on Wikipedia that he was only on rhythm guitars at this point. So you could argue he has like no solos here, no leads. So, but nonetheless, this album, man, I absolutely love it. Like I said, you could probably take Top Secret off this album and make it a 9-10 track, because there is an intro to Shame, Shame, Shame. And that intro is even really good, really bluesy, slow stuff. Oh God, it just gets right into Shame, Shame, Shame after that. Really good. I just love, and they even do a little power ballad. Like, I love ballads and power ballads and stuff. So I don't have an issue with it. It's not the best ballad that I've heard. It probably wouldn't even make the top 50 ballads from the 80s of my list, but it's still good, very listenable, very good. I'm not taking nothing away from it, but it's just okay. It's just okay. Nothing to write home about, but I still love it. So, guys, I know a lot of people like shit on this album, but I'm here to defend it. I defended it before on an album review that we did on this channel as well. And I think it just needs revisited if you kind of hold it or listen to it with an open mind, and kind of think like, okay, yeah, maybe Robin Crosby isn't really on this album. It doesn't have that same tone guitar tone and such. But if you look at it as far as Stephen Pearce, he still sounds good. Warren has like pretty much the whole guitar workload here. I think you can appreciate what Warren does on this album, and you can kind of look at it in a different light. So, and I mean, you had a couple different guests on here too. You had John Bon Jovi in the backing vocals of Heads I Win, Tails You Lose, and Michael Shankner, I believe, did something on, I'm not sure exactly what he did. I'm guessing some kind of guitar on Shame, 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 but I'm not 100% sure. But he was credited, so I'm not exactly sure what he was credited for. But obviously, Michael Shankner, great guitar player, so I'm thinking possibly he did some guitar work here. But yeah, really good. Desmond Child did produce this, and this might have been his first one that the only one that he produced. So they did kind of try to get a little bit more mainstream with it being 1990, get a little bit more commercial. But I think I would argue that this album is less commercial than, say, certainly the last album, Reach for the Sky. So yeah, I don't know. I absolutely love this. I'll defend it. And I will say it did hit 23rd on the top 200 Billboard charts, but it did only go gold. So certainly of the classic era of Ratt, this is the worst selling album, sadly. But I think that has something to do with the band kind of like falling apart at this point, and also just the time, 1990. It was kind of starting to get a little rough for bands, and a whole lot of other competition out there just in the glam and sleaze metal scene. So just that alone kind of, hurt sales, I would say. And I don't even know if they finished the tour, to be honest with you. I feel like I heard that too, that they didn't even finish the tour for this album. So that in turn kind of hurts as well. So yeah, I mean, guys, this is a great album. Check it out. Detonator. Really, really good. I can name almost, just close my eyes and pick a song, and you could argue to me that it's one of the better songs on here. But like I said, the two singles are great. One of my favorites. One Step Away is just a fun song as well. Man, I really good. Can't Wait on Love is one that I kind of forgot about, and certainly also worth mentioning. So guys, that comes in at number 1, Detonator from 1990, and that is my ranking of the Ratt discography. So just a quick recap: we have coming in at last place, not because I hate it or anything, just something had to go last here, and that's Infestation from 2010. Then we got here coming in at number 6, 1999, Ratt. Then you had coming in here, surprisingly to some people, Out of the Cellar coming in here next at 5. And then you got 4, Dancing Undercover. Very good. The start of a more melodic Ratt, or more mainstream Ratt, you could say. And then you have here coming in at number 3, Reach for the Sky. Number 2, the classic, the great Invasion of Your Privacy. But my personal favorite that I listened to more than any other Ratt album, Detonator from 1990. Certainly does need revisited from a lot of Ratt fans and just a lot of metal fans in general. Just good album all around. Good album. So, alrighty guys, that pretty much wraps up the video. Let me know in the comments what your ranking of Ratt's albums are. And tell me where I'm wrong, because I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with this exact lineup of albums here. And I'm always eager to see what kind of points other people bring out as to what their favorite album is and such. So, guys, and also click the like button if you enjoyed this video. Click the subscribe button if you wouldn't mind. Hang out with us a little bit. And until next time, guys, I'm Trevor Krash Knight, and I want to thank you for watching the Crash Course Metal Show. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, I wrote that. It's called I Want to Rock Your Body. And then in parentheses it says to the break of dawn.